Does your body try to tell you a story you erased? I remember a time when my body was a familiar home, a predictable map of sensations. But gradually it became a stranger, an unknown and hostile territory. The pain didn't come from a visible accident, nor from a diagnosed illness. It emerged like an unsettling shadow, an existential discomfort that manifested in every muscle fiber, in every joint that creaked without reason. It's a weight on my chest, a fatigue no sleep can repair, a rigidity that binds my movements even when my mind insists everything's fine. This is the body's language, whispering a story the mind refuses to recall, or in self-protection tried to erase. It's somatized trauma, settling in tissues, organs, guts without a name, without a clear event to justify it. Memories aren't in images or sounds, but in the skin that reacts, in muscles that contract in permanent guard, in nerves that pulse in constant alert. The body became a living archive, a silent diary of wounds consciousness didn't record, but which were deeply etched into every cell. It screams what the mouth never dared utter, what the mind insisted on forgetting. The body never lies. It merely whispers truths the mind tried to silence. My hands at times clench involuntarily, or my shoulders rise in a tension I can't release. They're small spasms, almost imperceptible tremors the world ignores, but which are like bridges to dormant physical memories. Somatized trauma isn't a memory as a scene, but a raw sensation, a contained energy seeking escape. It's the body reliving a terror the mind insists on classifying as forgotten. Every diffuse ache, every discomfort without apparent cause, is a point on this invisible map, a coordinate for a wound consciousness tried to seal. There's an archive within me, not in the mind, but in the very cellular constitution, where every humiliation, every fright, every silent abandonment was meticulously stored. It's the body's unconscious speaking through lower back pain, when emotional burden is unbearable, through gastritis when anger is swallowed, through headaches when confusion is suffocating. The body's language is relentless. It doesn't yield to denial. It's the silent witness to all battles never fought, all screams never uttered, all tears held back. Existential discomfort deepens as body and mind are in constant dissonance, one pulling towards oblivion, the other insisting on remembering through pain. It's an exhaustive dance between the need to forget to survive and the imperative urge for the body to release what traps it. The body speaks in murmurs, but its truth resonates like silent thunder. The mind, in its desperate attempt to protect, created a prison of denial. It insists, "It didn't happen. You got over it. It's all in your head." But the body is stubborn. It retains every impact, every omission, every unspoken word. I feel the truth in my viscera, in a stomach clench appearing without apparent reason, in a throat lump that suffocates words before they even reach consciousness. This is the body's language, my being's silent protest against forced oblivion. It's a soundless scream, a visceral rebellion manifesting as emotional illness, without a clear diagnosis, just an existential discomfort that consumes peace. This somatization isn't weakness, it's a survival strategy, the last frontier of memory insisting on being heard. My nervous system lives in constant alert, a hypervigilance program to detect threats I can't consciously identify, but which the body recognizes. It's like living under an eternally cloudy sky, where the storm is always imminent, but never truly arrives. With every inexplicable ache, every muscle tension that won't yield, my body sends a signal, a coded message of pain the mind tried to sweep under the rug. I am the living archive of my own denial, and my body is the relentless guardian of all buried truths. The body is the sacred book of all pains the soul refused to read. My nights are a silent battlefield. There are no nightmares with clear images, but a torment manifesting as inexplicable insomnia, fragmented sleep that never brings true rest. It's existential discomfort infiltrating dreams, a formless anxiety pulsing in my veins, keeping me in constant alert, even when the world exterior is at peace. This is the body's language speaking through the subconscious, releasing pressure from physical memories the conscious mind imprisoned. Every toss and turn, every abrupt awakening is an echo of a terror without a face, yet viscerally felt. There's a subtle, almost ghostly touch I feel in certain body parts. Tingling, numbness, a sharp pain appearing and disappearing without explanation. It's the phantom memory of trauma, an unseen scar manifesting in physical sensations, a relentless reminder that what the mind forgot still resides in the flesh. My body became a tomb for unspoken truths, and sensations are ghosts refusing to rest. Each time I try to ignore them, somatized trauma intensifies, as if the body's pleading for recognition for a validation the mind denies. It's the ancient wisdom of the flesh crying for liberation. Sleep that doesn't heal is the silent scream of an exhausted soul. Any touch, no matter how innocent, can become a threat, a trigger for the memory the body desperately tries to make me feel. It's an almost instinctive aversion to proximity, an addiction to avoidance manifesting as physical discomfort, a shiver, a sudden need to retreat. This isn't a conscious choice, it's deep programming, a result of somatized trauma that taught my system intimacy is dangerous. The connection brings the promise of pain and betrayal. My body became a shield, a barrier protecting me from a past the mind erased, but which the flesh insists on remembering. This body's language is a lament, a silent plea to look at what's hidden. My skin, once sensitive and welcoming, now reacts as if constantly on guard, pulsing in constant alert. The existential discomfort doesn't leave me. It nests deep within my being, a silent companion manifesting as chronic muscle tensions, diffuse pains moving without apparent logic. I avoid mirrors, not out of vanity, but because my reflection shows a fragmented self, where truth is written in the lines of a body contracting in denial. There's a silent grief for the spontaneity of touch, for the lightness of surrender. Lost in this addiction to avoidance, the body shrinks to protect the wound the soul refuses to see. The mind, in its cunning for survival, built an insurmountable wall: dissociation. It's an archetype of the absent self, that part of me that disconnects, floats away when pain or truth threaten to become too real. The body, however, is the ground where this battle manifests. Chronic tensions, pains that migrate without reason, sensations of numbness, all are the body's language, sentinels of physical memories the mind denies, but which the flesh insists on retaining. Somatized trauma lives in this space between what's remembered and what's felt, a persistent shadow refusing to dissipate. This wall of denial didn't protect, it isolated. It taught me to live in a parallel reality, where my body's truth is a whisper the conscious self learned to ignore. Existential discomfort deepens, transforming into a feeling of constantly being out of place, a ghost in my own temple. As Carl Jung reminded us, one does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious. And my darkness is the story my body desperately tries to tell me, but which my mind insists on keeping veiled, hidden under layers of forced oblivion. The wall of dissociation is the prison the body desperately tries to tear down. With every inexplicable ache, every symptom medicine can't name, I feel the silent scream of my soul. It's not a sound the outside world can hear, but an internal reverberation, a silent earthquake threatening to crack my structure, undoing my composition. This is the final manifestation of existential discomfort, the point where existence dangerously blurs with self-annihilation, with the disappearance of the self. The body, this living archive, is a minefield of unfelt sensations, unexpressed protests, revolts brutally silenced. The body's language is a desperate plea for witnesses. It seeks someone, anyone, who can decipher its signals, validate the story the mind insists on denying. The dark psychology of somatized trauma reveals a self held hostage by its own physical memories, trapped in a cycle of nameless suffering. I observe others with the lightness of being and feel not envy, but profound grief for the body's spontaneity stolen from me, for the freedom to simply exist without hidden pain. As Gabor Maté wisely reminds us, trauma is not what happens to us, but what happens inside us in the absence of someone to share it with. And the overwhelming inability to share this truth to healthily release it, transformed me into a vessel filled with anguish, slowly corroding me from the inside out. The bitter acceptance that this is my story, my destiny, my legacy of a body that screams what the mouth never dared utter. The exhausted soul doesn't ask for help. It merely folds in silence and waits to be deciphered. There is an ancestral wisdom in the flesh, a primordial knowledge transcending the mind's logic. My body, despite all attempts at denial, is the guardian of this wisdom. It speaks in microtensions, in cut breaths, in a subtle dance of discomfort, revealing the untold story. This is the body's language, the truth refusing to be silenced, even when the mind insists on erasing it. Physical memories aren't haunting ghosts. They're messengers seeking liberation. The dark psychology of somatized trauma lies precisely in this disconnection between consciousness and body, an abyss where pain accumulates until it overflows into symptoms. Existential discomfort becomes a guide, a call to look at what was swept under memory's rug. It's a conditional liberation. Peace is only possible when the body is finally heard, when its pains and silent screams are validated. My existence became a quest for this harmony, for a reunion with my own corporeal truth. The body, when heard, becomes the portal to the soul's freedom. My existence unfolds, a silent testament to somatized trauma, the burden of one who tried to forget what the flesh insisted on holding. This is my legacy, the story of a life where existential discomfort became the guide, the somber beacon forcing me to look into the depths. My physical memories are fragments of pain pushed into denial's abyss, sealed by the mind to maintain a facade of normality. But the body's language is relentless. It refuses to be silenced, and now it demands to be heard. The dark psychology of somatization reveals a self held hostage by its inexplicable pains, trapped in a cycle of seeking a diagnosis that never arrives. Invisible exhaustion is the price of every year lived under oblivion's banner, a debt life silently collects in every cell, every restless dream. There's no true escape, only the gradual awakening of a consciousness that begins to accept the body as the messenger, not the enemy. I observe my room's ceiling, and it mirrors a cloudless sky, vast and indifferent, reflecting my solitude, but now with a new light of understanding. The end isn't a magical cure, but the journey's continuation, the persistence of a being finally reconnecting with its own corporeal truth. I seek not pain's eradication, but understanding. I am my own body and my own archive, eternally connected to the story that inhabits me. The body is the altar where the soul's truth finally reveals itself. Does your body try to tell you a story you erased? If you feel the echo of this truth, write in the comments, "I hear what my body screams." Because silence is also an answer.